Hey, it works! Finally! Alright, about time. Good evening, guys. Or sorry, it's afternoon. Until now I've done the weekly show in the past, I think at 7 o'clock or so, 6 o'clock, I don't know. But I decided to run it at 4 o'clock. By the way, let me know if you can hear me. Let me check the chat in the meantime. Let's see. Am I audible or not? I should be. OBS says I'm audible, so should work. But obviously there's a delay as always in the chat and or what you see and what I can see. Let me know if everything is working. Hi there, Franco, Wayne, good evening guys. No comment yet on the audio. Yippee. Alright, so it has been a while. Let me check my script, because this show is scripted. Yeah, really. But I didn't have enough time to prepare everything in detail, so I hope everything goes well and my story is good tonight. This afternoon again. It's getting dark, but it's because it's cloudy. It's just 4 o'clock here. If you are still at work, then I'll close one eye to not see that. I'm not sure if your boss will. Let me put windows next to each other, otherwise I cannot see your chats, guys. And I'm using TeamViewer so I can control my main machine from here. This doesn't work, dang it. Everything should work, though my laptop just powered off without any reason, so I checked all the contacts. Everything should be working. I have no clue why it did that. Anyway. The sound should be better than in the past, because I'm not using a wireless microphone anymore, but I'm using this HyperX USB microphone, which is, I think, a lot better than what I used in the past, especially if I talk towards it instead of it being at my back or something, like with the R-Type video. I really hoped that noise wouldn't be here at this moment, but that's my thermometer that warns me that it's cold outside. It's freezing. Anyway, okay, let me get back to my script. So this microphone is a lot better. It's not that expensive, and it's really good for live streaming and that sort of thing. All right. Yeah, before doing anything else, I think it's time to run the famous intro. I hope everything still works. Let me know, guys, if you can see this. Please work. And then this time I hope it won't give me an tape loading error. Back. After some time. Yeah, it works. All right. I had to find some files again in OBS, but it got it working after some time. Right. Wayne was talking about that. Oh, please stop it. I should pull out the batteries, I think. Wayne was talking about the toast rack box here. I just needed something on the desk because there are some tissues here and remote controls on my phone, etc. I am coping already with hay fever. It's a bit early because last week we had some days, even yesterday, that it was quite warm in Holland, and I immediately have I'm coping with all the dust, how you call it, the pollen in the air. So that's why I need some tissues from time to time, and all kinds of stuff to keep me going. But that's not the biggest issue. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, ask me anything. If you want to know anything, just put it in the chat. I hope we can keep up. We'll see about that. Please subscribe to the channel, but I think most of you already have. And today I'm my own sponsor, so I can run that clip again. It's an old one, but let's do that.
Head over to ZXspectrum.shop to buy brand new add-ons for your ZX Spectrum.
Some water in the meantime.
Lots of different products are available. For example, the ZX HD HDMI interface, or the DiffMC Enjoy Pro 1 SD card interface, and lots more. Set the currency preference to British pounds or euro, and check out easily. Also found on our website are links to our Facebook page with weekly updates of all kinds of ongoing projects. And of course, do subscribe to our YouTube channel with lots of reviews and the ByteDelight weekly show episodes.
All right. Well, that's done. It would surprise me if any of you would don't know the web shop already. Anyway, web shop as well, but I will talk about it in a second. Let me check. What's on tonight's program, on tonight's menu? Well, I don't have that much special topics. Because usually I have some things like news topics and off-topic things that kept me busy, but I will skip those tonight because I have some other stuff that I can talk about, and I just didn't have time to find more news and off-topic things for now because of a lack of time. Yeah, you would say, well, you are working full-time again. That's true, but I have to get used to that new situation, if you can call it that. I still have the kids at home because of the school holidays, so that will take some time to. It just will take some time to be able to focus completely on the work again. And that's no big deal because I just like to do some things with the kids, like getting out, and we just have to. It's really bad to just stay inside the whole day. Wouldn't be good. So let's get to the topics of this week. The first one is I'm back to full time. So you must have seen the news announcements, the videos on YouTube and that stuff. The video that I made on midnight and New Year's Eve took me 2 days to work on that. It was really a lot of work. But it was just a lot of fun. I like to do that. But it contains something, and only one person has found it yet. I did hint on Facebook that there are 2 more options available, if you can call it that. So it would be good if you like cool stuff to take a close look at the video again. You have to do some work for it. But in the hint on Facebook, I already said that you need to do something that incorporates something with 4000 hertz and 12 decibels. That's the only thing I can say. So should be enough. I'm curious when the other 2 people will find the clue and the solution. Anyway, so get back to that video. It's the Back to the Future video, let's call it that, from 1 January. That's what I wanted to say about that. I'm not going to give more hints at this moment. So, ask you anything. Okay, what's pi? Okay, oh my god, okay, you want that? Pi. I can try to ask, have a ZX Spectrum show pi, but 3.14, 15, 92, 65, 35.9, and the other numbers, I don't know. I can click one of these pictures here, but okay. But I don't think that's what you really want to know. Anyway, yeah, the second video I made was about the famous game which is on here on this box here, R-Type, and especially the demo tape. I think the demo tape had more impact on me than the complete game did later on. and that's because I showed in the video that I think I bought that magazine in a local bookstore, and it was one of the first magazines I bought, and believe it or not, it's just one of the best games ever released for the ZX Spectrum. I think I was a bit late with the Spectrum. I think I got my first. I can count back if I want to. I was 8 or 9. Well, it should still be early. I think 85, 86 or something. I think I got my first ZX Spectrum, but not the first 2 years. So I was kind of late with that. But anyway, I liked it a lot. We had a ZX Spectrum before we had a PC. I think. I'm not sure. I'm wondering. I can't remember exactly. Not sure if the XT was arrived before the ZX Spectrum. I don't know. I got a ZX Spectrum from my uncle who lives in Spain now. He was here a couple of months ago, and I made a photo and put it on Facebook. So, if you want to know, rung. What's rung? Okay, rung. I don't know. Okay. Any questions are welcome. About R-Type. The cool thing is that after making that video, which I liked a lot, and I really played the demo level in one shot. So I used 3 cameras, but it was only one shot, and I won with a lot of good luck, because there was one situation which I put in slow motion. You can see it in the video, which was very close to not working at the beginning of the level. Anyway, the cool thing is that I contacted Bob Pape, the developer of the ZX Spectrum version. He has a website, and he also has an ebook in PDF or some other format you can download yourself, where he explains everything about how he came to write the ZX Spectrum version of R-Type, the first R-Type, and with a lot of stories and his background and photos and more. You can download that. And I thought, well, why not click the contact button? And I did, and I got a reply. I'm not showing it on screen because I don't think it's nice to show someone else's email completely. But I can say some things that he sent me. He was glad that I got in touch, and that I enjoyed the game so much, and still do, as I showed him in the video. He just finished watching the video, so he has seen the complete video, which is cool. I think it was a 20-minute video in total. And it's as much as a surprise to me to see the demo running again. Did I really come up with and type in all that you must succeed scrolling text? So he of course, it has been something like, what will it be? 35 years, 40 years or something ago that he wrote the game. That's just awesome. One of the best conversions ever. An adult-themed ZX Spectrum Expo in Moscow. Okay, Franco. I have no idea what that will imply. I think you missed the square root symbol. Yeah. Oh, square pi. Oh man. Guys, be careful what you say on the chat, because it might get banned. Or the video might get demonetized. Anyway, what else is he saying? Bob Pape, back to his email. Sorry you couldn't interrupt all the text in the demo or in the game itself. Originally you could. Hey, that's interesting. He's telling something new. Originally you could, and that's how I wanted it to be, but it was overruled on that one by Activision, who told me I had to prevent it. Okay, cool. Very interesting. I hope he doesn't mind that I'm talking about this out loud. Sorry, Bob, if so, but I really liked your reply on my email. I will send you one other email back later. Anyway, it's really cool. He's talking about some other details. He really likes the copy that I found. So this one is really undamaged, completely undamaged. There's no sign of tape getting removed, which is with most of the tapes. Also the one on the wall here, the poster. Including his. He also has he needed to buy one himself, which is in this story as well. So the magazine with the tape. But he also his version also got ended up with ripped labels. All right, really cool. He is he like many people, he asks himself if there's really such a demand for ZX Spectrum hardware when he took a look at the ByteDelight at the web shop. And there is, I can tell you that. There's loads of things to do, and if not with the ZX Spectrum, then I will find other machines in the future to work on. And maybe I should do that already this year or next year, because I'm going to talk about parts shortages, which is a worldwide problem and also affects me. So I want to talk about that in a minute. Right, next topic. I've done a lot with 3D printing. I downloaded the design of this C5, and I disassembled parts, which is really a lot of work. The design wasn't perfect. It wasn't symmetric, for example. But what I did is I just created holes in the design and then deleted stuff around the part, which contains all the mechanic parts in the real C5. So I really tinkered a lot with the STL file I downloaded, and in the end I got to this really cool Revell-like DIY set, and I already made it available on Facebook, but it's not perfect. I will work on it some more in the near future, and we'll do some more prints. In the meantime, you can see that I got a really huge load of filament rolls from GST 3D from Spain. They are really cheap, really cheap. Less than half of the prices that you pay on Amazon, for example. And I bought 10 rolls, so I got loads of them in all colors that you can imagine. So obviously white for the C5 and black for the wheels. I already had the TPU, the rubber-like filament, which is good for the wheels, I think. But I was experimenting a bit here. So I have that in stock. Maybe I should have ordered gray, because I only have silver now, which is more metallic color-like, but it's not a big deal. And I ordered a Ender 5 Pro, which should arrive in a week or two. And also I'm going to order some SLA printers, so with resin, and that's because of, where did I leave that? Oh, because of some other designs that I'm working on. So for example, I'm working on a new joystick. This is just a first attempt from someone who did it for me. So this is a joystick case experiment printed with resin, and this is a tough material that he used for this one, so it's not brittle, but it's kind of flexible, but the print has gone slightly bad, so we have to do a lot of more testing with the printer. But that's some things with 3D printing, and I think resin printing is a good solution for low volume printing of high quality, high detailed, high resolution prints. So one really wonder about how much work that will be, and I think that could be a good solution for printing all kinds of things in high quality, also cases and more. But at this moment I have the cases for the ZX HD and a Pro 1 printed by Materialize professionally with laser sintering. Let me check the chats, because it's going really quick there. I read the book about R-Type, very interesting story indeed. It's online, yeah. Hey, Red Mel. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Robert, for the good words. I've got my eye on a new Spectronet. Yeah, I can give an update about that. I will do that in a second. It's on my script. Hey, Vincent. I think I got some messages from you. I have to. Yeah, you're talking about it that I have to reply to. That's the thing that I didn't have processed completely this week. So I had to do a lot of had to talk about to some people that were complaining a lot, which took some time, and because of that, some other mills haven't been processed as well. Hey, a C5 kit, working head tail lights? No, but of course, if you can tinker, then you can do that. I think it will. I can add it in the near future. Some holes for lights and so. And I also have transparent filaments somewhere in that corner of the of the workplace. So for lights, I can of course use transparent filament. All right. Question: do you plan to participate on Spectrum 40? Yes, I am planning, but I have to do a lot of things to get there. It's not arranged yet. I have to book a ticket, of course, but it's the most easy thing. But if I would go there, I would like to offer my products, of course, but that will be quite hard to achieve because I don't have my UK vet identification number in yet, which I requested 2 months ago. So I'm waiting for that. And Thomas Eberle from Syntec already offered to me to sell through his shop. So we have to talk about that. I'm not sure if that's the best solution. I'm not sure what the details of that arrangement agreement would be. So I have to check about that. But if I cannot offer my products, I just have to go there and be there. That's one thing, of course, which I can do. I find it fascinating to see the way you fault find problems with old spectrums. Oh, I like that a lot. And really, if you do it, if you did 100, then the next 100 are easy. Every spectrum that I repair gives me new insights and faults and how you solve them, and it's really getting easier if you do a lot of them. So that's important. And I think there's a really huge backlog still waiting of repairs. I think I can speed up a lot by repairing them. The only issue is that repairing the ZX Spectrum and refurbishing it still costs about something like an hour, sometimes even longer if there are real tough faults somewhere. And it's hard to make that profitable. That's a problem, because you can buy a ZX Spectrum that maybe still works, that just needs a composite video modification and a new keyboard membrane for something like 40-50 euros, and doing repair that will that I have to ask, like, what is it at the moment, 70 or 80 euros for. Some people think that's too much, or might think that's too much. But of course that includes replacing all capacitors, that includes removing the ULA socket and putting a heatsink on it. And that's what I do, and it costs me about an hour time, so and parts, of course, and that's in the price and in that rate for repairs and refurbishments. So hence it's really hard to offer it cheaper, and I cannot do that. So anyway, hey Peter, good evening. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you as always. Right, Chris, good evening. Thank you. Right, let's get back to what I was talking about. We talked about some 3D prints and stuff that's coming in. So the new 3D printer is arriving. My current one is a what is it called? I don't know. Yeah, I forgot the name. It's some less known brand, and it has done its job. It's just every print. I need to check if the plate is calibrated, if it's leveled, and so. And it's really time consuming. Also it has some problems with heating up and some other things. So I'm really glad that I ordered a far better one, which will arrive in 2 weeks. And they're really getting quite cheap at this moment. So you can buy a fully capable 3D printer for less than 200 euro, for example. Obviously you need to assemble it yourself, or if you want to buy a completely assembled one, I'm afraid that the price will triple or something like that, because assembling a 3D printer is really time consuming, like I think 2 days at least. If you like, I will assemble the Ender 5 Pro on the live stream or at least record it. So let me know in the chat if you like that. Yeah, that's true, Franco. So if you cannot repair your own ZX Spectrum, it's a good deal. And there are so many people that just want their original ZX Spectrum. If you still have your first one from the 80s, they want it back in the best shape ever, so they can use it for decades to come, and that's doable with the refurbishment. Okay, next topic. As you can see, it's still a mess behind me, the desk. This was my workplace for my IT job that I quit a week ago, and above are all the repairs that need to be taken care of, and also some production work there in the small boxes. So I've got a really lot of work, and once I got some space here, so in a week or two, I will put on some new shelves, so something like that, with really cool lighting. I have some really cool ideas. I already tested that, so that will work just fine. It will make the show a lot nicer than it is now. So we'll show you when it's done. Okay, Franco. I probably will do some live streams and record it as well, and maybe do a time lapse or something about assembling it. I think I like it. Like doing that. All right. Okay. So yeah. So I was talking about the backlog. Still have lots of work to do. I have the shelves full. That's a good thing. I cannot show you because the camera is there. I'm here, but the shelves are filled up completely. So that's a good thing. But I have already have some orders on the printer. I think I got 20 or 30 orders waiting to be picked, which will be sent out tomorrow if everything for them is in stock. I've got some custom. No, not custom. I've got some things to do, like getting Opus Discovery kits picked together and tested. So don't have those ready all the time because they take up a lot of space in the closet there. I don't have the space for that, so I do have the parts in some other crates, but I just have to finish those orders, and some have been waiting for 3 weeks, I think, so that's a long time. No IKEA lighting. I've got a way cooler idea. I will show you. Not today. Love the passion for retro repair. Yeah, well, I love retro computing, so there's really no shame of that, and it's a real. When I explain it to people, I just say that nostalgia is a business, and making it possible, or if someone thinks back of their youth and how easy their youth was and how very free that time was back in the days. Nowadays, the people think of their home computers back then. Before that, those were cars. The people from 20 years ago who worked on cars in their barn or something. I think it's shifting more and more to people who like working again with their beloved computers from the 80s or 90s or something like that. And you can see there's a really lot of interest for it. One of the best examples, I think, is Clint Bessinger from come on, Ben. Clint Bessinger from LGR, of course, Lazy Game Reviews. So I really like his channel. I watch it a lot. Last week he had some video about some cool mice for PCs and in really odd shapes. One was in the form of a pedal for guitars, and so really cool. I have to completely watching that video. Multicolored disco lights, well, something like that. But it will be decoration. So, but it will. Well, let me give you one hint. Then it will be controlled by the ZX Spectrum. So it is. It's something very cool. LGR, yes, of course. Owen, thank you. Yeah. Okay, I was talking about SpectroNet and parts, and I really have. I'm getting more and more into troubles with obtaining parts. So, for example, for the ZX HD, there's now a really big deal about getting Raspberry Pi Zeros. There's only one shop that has them in stock, and I was able to order 30 at once a month ago there, but now also that shop only offers one per order. and it's really hard because they have shipping costs from something like €6, which for a Raspberry Pi is quite a lot of money. And you can only order one Raspberry Pi at a time. So I try to combine ordering Raspberry Pis with some other stuff at once, but I might have to increase the price of the ZX HD, or the version with the Raspberry Pi, obviously, a lot again, because I'm not sure if I can keep offering them for the current price. But at least I can still obtain some Raspberry Pis, but it's really getting hard, and maybe they will cancel my next orders if I order more. I'm not sure about that, because they say one per customer, so that's hard to know if they are going to make them available. And I also don't know how many they have in stock, because I contacted the raspberrypi.org, the organization behind it, and they just simply told me that they're not sure if they can produce more Raspberry Pi Zeros this year. So they do produce the Raspberry Pi Zero 2, but the first version of the Raspberry Pi Zero might not be produced in this year because of parts shortages. So that's a really big deal for the ZX HD. I have been come in contact with Emre Yakli from Hungary, who developed the firmware on the Raspberry Pi Zero for the current ZX HD, but at this moment he doesn't have time to work on the on adapting the firmware for the Raspberry Pi Zero 2, so the newer version, which was released a month ago, something like that. So that it could be that I have to get ZX HD out of stock in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure. I hope I can still obtain some Raspberry Pi Zeros, and I have some stock here. I think something like 25 pieces in stock. So, but that's about it. We'll see about it. Other parts are getting hard to obtain. For example, ROM chips. All kinds of ROM chips. The one for that I include with the ZX die cards and the Harlequin kits. They also have the diagram, so you can put it on the board and test the board. There's no ZX Spectrum ROM image on those chips because of intellectual property copyrights. I'm not allowed to ship ROMs with ZX Spectrum ROM image, but of course I have the huge batch of +2 ROMs, original +2 ROMs in stock, so I can continue with that for a couple of months. So those are getting harder. Also, the ROM chips for the diffMC interfaces are getting harder to obtain, and I wish I could choose to use another type of ROM, but the problem is that I didn't write the ROM flashing routines, and those should be adapted. So I'm not sure if I can do that myself. I have to dig into that, and it will cost time, but it would be nice if I can just get over to another ROM type and maybe adapt the PCB for that. But it's also really time consuming, because if I adapt the PCB, if I choose another ROM, I have to adapt the PCB maybe, and then I have to buy a new stencil and change the programming of the pick and place machine behind me. So it's a lot of work of doing that all, and I really hope I can still find the current ROM chips. I have found 29 pieces at Mauser last week, and they seem to be still produced next year, not this year, so we'll see about that. Other chips are the Xilinx Cpld chips, so the XC95 series. I use 3 models of that series, and all of them are getting hard to obtain. So I still have my ways of obtaining them. There are some places that I won't share because they're really hard to get already, but I can still get some. And there are loads of other things, like I heard from Untitled that the VSA capacitors are getting harder to obtain. I didn't have problems with that so far myself, but prices are getting up. So it's really ridiculous that you have to pay more than €1 for one VSA capacitor, compared to like 5 or 6 cents for some cheap brand, you know. It's really ridiculous, the difference in price, but we all like the VSA capacitors, so we're going to use them for the ZX Spectrum refurbishment. So as I said, I'm putting all my effort in getting new places to obtain those parts. But the Chinese suppliers are dried up, if you ask me. Sometimes I'm not doing it anymore. I have tried to obtain these parts that I just named from China, and 9 of 10 of the batches I order are not working at all for some reason. So several chips are just not working. I think they're just selling the same defective batch that maybe have been sent back. I don't know. So that's a really shame. So it's really hard to obtain the parts, but I got my places, and I can reach out to some other companies that do broker activities for old stock batches of parts, so I can ask even more. Let me check the chat. Gianluigi, good evening from Dublin. Interested in the 3D printer? Could you please repeat which one you have bought? I remember the current one I have is a ANET. I'm not sure which type, but it's an old one. And now I have ordered the Creality Ender 5 Pro. They're available on several websites, and mine should be delivered in about 2 weeks. The fun will be the assembling. Yeah, I know. I don't have the time for it, but I will do it. Ever thought of designing and making your own ULAB replacement? Yes, I've been talking to several people about that. Mark Smith, for example, and also the New Zealand guy, Charlie Ingley, if I'm not mistaken, who makes the VLA chips. Charlie's not yet giving other people the opportunity to produce the same chips, because he does them himself. Mark does, but only the standard types, as far as I know. So I will dig into that once I find time. It's all on my to-do list, which is an never-ending amount of A4 pages of lists with things to do. That's a long line. That would be nightmare. What would be nightmare? Do a ULA replacement? No, that wouldn't be nightmare, because they're there. We have several types. We have the Nebula, we have the SLAM ULA chips, we have the VLA chips, and there are even some other Eastern European clones. So there are some types available already. The ZX HD is a great bit of kit. A must-have. Yeah, thank you, Wayne. I agree. I really like it a lot. I use it quite a lot as well. I still have to find some decent HDMI capture device. I still don't have one. And talking about cool devices for things like live streaming or just recording video from a ZX Spectrum, I'm also going to order a Elgato Stream Deck, the one with I think 15 keys or something, because it's really useful just being able to swap scenes and other stuff in OBS with those keys. And I need another display, as I said already, because I cannot see everything. I can see it from a distance, but it's not good enough, of course. Glad it's not just me struggling to find a ROM chip. Yeah, it's really hard. I think I saw your post about it, Owen, if I remember correctly. I think you asked where you can obtain them. I'm not sure. I still find them, and if I get a hand on a reliable supplier, after testing a batch, I always try to order more, but most of the time all the stock has gone before I have the chance to order more. That's a pity. What about porting to other Pi boards? Well, that's the same problem as the Pi 02. Work has to be done with the firmware, which is running on the Raspberry Pi. So I like alternatives, but there's not much that is better, and especially with the low price of the Raspberry Pi, although it should be low, it should be $5 or euros or something. It's about the same. But at the moment, I have to pay €12 for a Raspberry Pi Zero, without anything special, without a header, without the Wi-Fi. The version with Wi-Fi and header cost me €16, so it's really a lot of money. But as long as I can obtain them and people cannot obtain them themselves, I just offer them, and I don't make any money on the Raspberry Pis. So I'm not trying to abuse the high price of those. That's not what I want. But it's really hard to find them, and if I can find them, they're really over expensive. Just like graphics cards for PCs and so, Fortunately, I got my first 1080 last week. Anyway, let's get back to on-topic stuff, which concerns ZX Spectrums. What about porting out? That's the question I already did. Yeah, GR, it's Juraj. Hey, good evening. Good evening, man. And I will process your stuff tomorrow or next week. You've been waiting way too long, like a lot of other people. That's not what I want. But I do want to do the show every week from now. So I hope I don't have to apologize next week. I hope that has been sorted then. You can burn your own ROM chips. Yes, you can. It's quite easy. So you can order a Mini Pro or something else. Or a top programmer, or top 2008, or one other type. I don't know which is the most used one at this moment. It's easy, but I cannot advise that because it would be a breach of intellectual property if I advise it to others. So you have that option, you can do it, but I cannot encourage you to do. So I won't. Hello. Hey Andres, I have been written to you several times. Yeah, I will. sorry for the delay, Andreas. I'm working a lot. Really, this week I think I've done 50 or 60 hours, including making all the videos and so. I've done a lot of production work because I want to. Maybe it's good to explain how it works inside my head. If I know that I still have to do a really big amount of production work, and I have to do the repairs, and I have to do messages, and I really get really chaotic. It doesn't work. So I want to keep up with at least one thing. That's important to me. So I always want to keep up with production work. So I have a list for that. These days I can show you. I have a production list which has all the ZX so all the ByteDelight products, and I just have to count how many are on the shelf. And when I enter the numbers in Excel, it just tells me which product I have to make and how many. And I'm going to do that once a week. So the counting, and then I know on Monday what I have to work on. That's what I'm getting towards too. So I use those lists just to help me. I always expect prices to rise. No, I don't actually. I really hope the parts shortages will get over with one day, but I'm not sure, because if you think of it, it's a really long sequence of problems that have been occurring. So there are only a couple of companies worldwide that produce hardware chips. I mean, for other companies. So, for example, Intel doesn't. Intel only makes their own chips in their own factories. But TSMC and Samsung and some other big wafer companies, I'm not sure how you call them, chip companies, chip assembly, chip production companies. They do that for all kinds of brands. So Nvidia, AMD, Micron, I don't know, loads of companies can order their chips there. And I think also the smaller companies, maybe they're not small, but relatively small, they put their orders in there. For example, the chips for the Raspberry Pi Zero will most probably be done by TSMC, I'm not sure. And if they cannot produce the chips because they don't have the capacity at the moment, then it's stagnated quite a lot. And maybe there are several chips that are needed for one board, and if one company like Broadcom for the SoC for the chip, the CPU, can deliver the chips finally, there might be another company like the company that delivers the Wi-Fi chips, the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chips on the same boards, that cannot deliver them at this moment. You know, so that it's a really big problem, and because there's so much demand for high-end things like smartphones, car electronics and card chips. The companies are really filled up with work 24/7, and they cannot produce anything anymore at this moment. And putting up a new factory with the old equipment, you can just claim a piece of ground, of course, but that's no factory. It will take billions of dollars, and it will take months to get a factory up and running, maybe years even, because the ASML, for example, here in Eindhoven or in Veldhoven, who creates the machines that make the wafers, so the lighting. I'm looking for the word. the machines that just make the chips, just call it that. They will need some months, of course, to get the machines ready and shipped to any location in the world. So it's all something that will take a really long time to level again. I think it will take a couple of years to get back to normal levels, and maybe it will never get back to normal levels because the craziness of people that have like if you're in a Western country, it's normal nowadays that you have enough money. So why not buy a new phone every 2 years or something, you know? And if so, then and millions of people do that. The companies that make the products just have to keep producing the new stuff and need new parts, and it's really ridiculous. I wish there was more. People could do more longer with their phones, but I'm saying that myself. But my Samsung S8 Plus is showing symptoms of it getting old because it's rebooting now every day, once or twice, and it's really a pity because it's a really good phone. So I'm really, I would really be sad if I couldn't solve this problem in software or something. Because I don't want another phone. I like this phone, but I don't think it's reasonable to have this repaired. I don't know. We'll see about it. Anyway, I didn't do anything with it. It's just getting old, I think. I don't know. It's rebooting. Maybe it's some software that is messing up with the hardware. I don't know. Anyway, let's check the chats again because I'm talking way too much. Let me see. It will resolve itself. Yeah, we have to see about that because think of it. If things like graphics card for PCs will come available again in huge amounts, then people will start buying those. But you don't know exactly how many you need. So maybe they can produce twice the amount as they can produce at this moment. But is that enough? I don't know. And if you look at create a new market, for example, PC gaming is really hot again. Loads of people thought that PC gaming would go away and people would only game on a PlayStation or something, you know. But PC gaming is really cool, and many new titles are available on PC and with better graphics than PlayStation 5 or something like that. So I really like playing on the PC. I only have a PlayStation 4. I started to play Just Dance 2022 yesterday with the kids. So we used 4 Sony Move controllers and did some dancing, and I won't show pictures of that, believe me. But that's what we do with the PlayStation, man. That's all the games we play on PC. And I don't think Just Dance is available for PC anyway, so you have to do that in your living room with a television, you know. So have you looked at the ZX Element? Yes. No. Oh my, it's in a box. It's in a box there, but you cannot see it, and that's one of the things on my to-do list. I promised Jan to work on it, but I didn't have time for it yet. Element ZX, it's called. How about the chance to get a ZX Spectrum Rainbow LED case back in stock? It will be available soon, I think in a week or two after I've done some repairs. No, not yeah. So within half a year, yes. I have some parts in stock for at least 5, so I can make more. But it's just a matter of time. And once I put them in stock again, everyone who is waiting for one will be notified automatically. So you can leave your email address with any product if you want to be notified when they're in stock again. All right. Owen, there's also a risk some chips will be end of life. Yeah, that's my fear, because some companies still say, like Raspberry Pi Organization Foundation, they say that the Raspberry Pi Zero, the first version, will still be available until 2026, I think. But it wouldn't surprise me if they just say, well, sorry, it's really getting too hard to obtain the Broadcom socks. We just need to cancel the product completely. That would be a shame. Of course, I have to do something with Imra, for example, to get the Raspberry Pi Zero 2 working on the ZX HD then. But anyway, there's a risk, of course, as always. It would be really bad. It would be really bad. So the same with the ROM chips and other stuff, the Cplds. If that would be the case, then I would have a lot of spare time, I guess. And I would use that to dig into FPGA technology, because I think for many pieces of hardware, FPGAs are a good alternative. I'm not sure if I would like a FPGA to completely substitute about all hardware in a ZX Spectrum. But for some parts, it would be a good idea, I think. But I still want to have the feeling that I'm using an original ZX Spectrum. So that's what I want to say. So if I would use FPGA technology, I would use it for add-ons like different interfaces, HDMI interfaces, Ethernet interfaces, that sort of thing. But I would first try to replace parts of the existing stuff. All right. ZX phone, yeah, would be cool. I would like a ZX phone. But you can create your own phone if you want, with all kinds of parts. So maybe I can just 3D print a shell for it. I don't know. 128K. Yeah, you can at least store 4 pictures in low res with rubber keys. Reminds me of the Casio wrist calculators from back then. What's the stock like at the Harlequin 128 kits? I have them in stock plenty. I have enough parts at this moment, and the shelves are completely filled up with Harlequin DIY kits. Yeah, I got one customer that I think already built 6 or 7 Harlequin kits, several types. And I have news, but it's in a drawer at this moment. I've got 10 revision 3H boards from Dan Superfo. So I will work on kits for that revision as well, but it will have some will be some more complicated than the other kits because of more SMD parts, and I think the composite video output is gone with those revisions. So you do need a RGB cable, which is of course more expensive, but we'll see about it. Maybe I will bundle it with the kit, I don't know. All right. I'm talking too much. That's what you get if you do the show alone. I need a sidekick. Maybe when it's safe again, I can invite people to do the show together. My kids did attend the show once or twice, but it's not really their thing. Right. New product IDs. Well, I was talking about the joystick case already, working on that. I already talked about the Harlequin 3H, and wow, Wayne, you built 5 kits. Nice. Well, let's not brag about it, but I think I have done 50 or something. But that's because I offer the assembled version, you know. What other products are coming up? Of course, the ZXAY with the replacement AY chip will come up as an option, so you can choose between several versions. The AVR AY chip itself will be available. And what else do I have? Let me look around. I'm not sure. Well, obviously the stuff that's not in stock at this moment will be available really soon. Now I need a sidekick, not a kick. Alright. I also want to try to print the printer belts. Should be possible. Let me check my script. Time is flying. And when I come for with oh yeah, of course, I have some ideas for the Specky breadboard. I also talked about getting some Fisher Technique kits available, but not with the Fisher Technique, but with other parts. I have to look. It just was an inspiration to see a picture about that. But I think I can make that a Specky breadboard project. So that would be cool, that you can use the Specky breadboard to wire up your interface for a robot arm or something like that. I think it's really cool to do that with your ZX Spectrum. I think it is possible to program it from BASIC, and otherwise I will include some routines on for diffMC, for example. All right. Let me check. Is everything running here? Yes. Okay. Right. Some last things I have on my script are I wanted to talk about planning. I am getting to a new weekly schedule. One of the things I really need to do is plan on when I'm going to ship products, like on Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's what I have in mind. So I have 2 days to work on getting the products done and the orders done. That's most important. So SpectroNet, Dual Floppy, and some other products will be available soon. And oh yeah, of course, I was hinted on thinking about getting a virtual assistant, mainly for the for processing emails and so, and Facebook messages. So that's what I'm thinking about. And I will also get into contact with a business coach to work on ByteDelight completely. And one other thing I had on my script today was that I am going to get a real big box of new hardware for Mark Payne ready, which I wanted to do a couple of weeks ago already. But I need to do that because I want to get him up and running really soon. Alright, that's about what I had on my script. One more question. I really like to see other ZX Spectrum setups, so if you could send me photos of your desk with your ZX Spectrum running anything except nude demos or so, please send me your photos of your ZX Spectrum setups. You can do that by email or by Facebook, and I will gather them and I will show them in the next ByteDelight weekly show. I think if you use email, use something like my setup at ByteDelight.com or so, something like that, or my ZX Spectrum setup at ByteDelight.com. I will receive anything, and if I don't like it, I can just block your email. So no, just joking. That's it for this week. Next week I don't have any plans for next week for the show, but of course I will dig into my Facebook posts and see what I've done. I hope I can say I've done a lot of repairs. I think so, because next week the kids are getting back to school. Yes. Hey, I get a warning that the stream's current bitrate is lower than recommended, and I thought I'd just put it a bit lower because they like that at YouTube, but they want to have it at a higher bitrate. Ah, well, next time then. I think the quality is good enough if I see it. Why are they complaining? Okay, anyway. This video should be in 2K, so 1440p at 60 Hertz, if I'm not mistaken. So the quality should be quite good. Alright, finishing the show tonight. Please subscribe if you haven't. Put all your comments in below in the comments on the video. Please click the thumbs up on the video, or thumbs down if you didn't like it. I will see you next week, and I still have... Oh, let me check the last chats here. Do you plan on a modern replacement for the ZX printers? That will be hard. I'm still looking for a Brother HR5 printer though. Original one. Multicolored LEDs. Oh yeah, that's what I have in mind, Wayne. I want to make a programmable, so addressable RGB kit of the rainbow LED keyboard, but it will take some time and it won't be that easy because maybe it should incorporate a microcontroller. I will see about that. Work to live and don't live to work. Yeah, that's what I do. So, oh yeah, well, why not say that? I don't want to work on Sundays anymore. So, that's a good thing, I think. Did anyone else succeed with the event? Ah, hey, good question, Ant. I was talking about it in the beginning of the show, that only one person found the clue and the solution. You did a good job. So, everyone knows now. Please don't ask Ant what the solution is. He won't tell you. I think he promised me. Anyway, bye for now, and let's do the outro scene and end this show for this week. Thank you for watching, of course. I really like keeping in touch this way, and I hope to see you all next week. So, let's see if this clip still works. Yeah, I think so. And really, you have to get over to ZXspectrum.shop now. Hope your boss is not watching. If you haven't watched the archive video yet, then please do now.